Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bag Lady Show. And we just like to encourage everyone to give, to live a life of service. We sell handbags in order to help women around the world. And we just like to encourage people to find purpose in life by also giving back. I want to introduce always my beautiful co-host and daughter, Shauna.
Hello, hello.
And how are you this evening?
I'm great, and it today happens to be National Awkward Moments Day.
Oh, like we've never had any of those.
I've had so many. Some I wouldn't even want to talk about on air. They're so embarrassing. We did find some of the top most awkward moments. One of them is forgetting a punchline of a joke you told. I do that.
I have done that. That is so embarrassing.
Well, it's just, yeah, it's annoying. This one, thinking someone is waving at you, but they're really waving at somebody else. That happens pretty much monthly. No. Sending a text message to the wrong person. That can be very awkward.
I have done that many a time.
Yeah. Going the whole day not knowing there's food stuck in your teeth.
And why wouldn't somebody tell you that?
Well, it's just as embarrassing for them to tell you as it is for you to have it in your tooth, I guess. I don't know. I'm guilty. Sometimes I'll just let them go and,
True.
It happens. Another one is going in for a hug when the other person is going in for a handshake, especially around COVID stuff. I've been doing that a lot. Hey, and I'll get a elbow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I forgot. Sorry. Okay, right. What do we do? So we end up doing like the chicken dance together. It's just, what is one of your most awkward things?
Oh, well, I think one of the big one that I can think of off the top of my head was I was speaking at a women's conference, and I was supposed to introduce actually the keynote speaker, and I forgot her name. Oh,
what did you do?
Goodness. I am so sorry, but I just forgot her name. I was mortified. I'm mortified just thinking about it. How about you? You got one you're willing to share?
I've had so many awkward moments. I think always the most awkward ones are when you pass gas and you don't mean to, and that's
true.
I think everybody it's happened to, like in PE when you have to do the crunches and then you're in the gym and all of a sudden it's just boom, 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 boom. And it's like, oh, then you just pretend like nothing. And then there's more toots that come along with, I don't know. I'm not the only one who has that story. So
okay.
It's a universal one.
Well, moving right along.
I got into the potty talk.
Okay. Moving right along. We have a great interview again tonight with the CEO of Rocketbox, SEO, and he's actually also the executive producer of the Bag Lady Show, and he just has done an amazing metamorphos into going from kind of a guy in the fast lane and everything, moving to really wanting to use his amazing gifts in marketing to help organizations like ours that are helping other people. And you're going to really enjoy this interview with Vince Trujillo. And so turn off that news. It's really never good news. And enjoy listening to our good friend and executive producer, Vince Trujillo.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is an episode of The Bag Ladies, and my name is Vince Trujillo. I'm the guest for today, and I'm neither a bag nor a lady, but I'm the featured guest, and I'm happy to be here with Rana and Shauna Jordan. Rana and Shauna Jordan, take it away.
Hey, we're happy to have you, Vince.
Yeah, thanks for being here,
By the way, just so our audience knows, you are the producer of The Bag Ladies, and
I'm the producer.
And our head marketing honcho.
And the honcho too.
Head honcho. So we're happy to have you on, and but today we're gonna take off that professional hat for the most of it, at least. And why are you making so much noise?
I mean, seriously,
Sorry.
dude, get it together.
That was my big mic, and then it just kind of fell over here. So
Okay. All right. So anyway, for the most part, we want to take off the professional Vince Trujillo hat and we want to peel back some layers and really just find out who you are. And
Great.
things about you maybe we didn't know or other people. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, a little bit of background on myself is that, well, this is interesting. Is that part of the questionnaire?
Yeah. Tell your audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Vince Trujillo.
About you.
It's
Well,
all
my name-
about you.
My name's I currently I own a digital marketing agency, and I've been doing this for about 7 years now. Before that, I worked in finance, anything from mortgage banking all the way to investment banking. I grew up here in New Mexico. I've been here pretty much my whole life. I've done some traveling around the world, which I enjoy doing. I enjoy outdoor activities. I enjoy four-wheeling. I enjoy anything adventure.
You enjoy climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro because you all gave me the opportunity to come visit with you out in Africa.
Hardcore. That's
a
hard.
couple of years ago. It was great. I mean, it was not as bad as some people think, but yet it's not a normal thing for some
No.
other people.
No, it's very abnormal.
So that's a little bit about me. I mean, I enjoy a lot of different things. I don't have kids. I'm not married, but I enjoy time with my beautiful girlfriend, and we do a lot of cool stuff. And
Gorgeous.
And now we're working on, I'm working with you all, and I'm working with impact-driven organizations and kind of figuring out how to spend the next, 15, 20 years of my life doing things that I enjoy doing and having an impact and helping others. Good. And having
That's
fun
awesome.
along the way.
Okay, so you come from a Hispanic background. Did that kind of filter anything, or what are your greatest memories growing up?
I got to grow up on a small farm in southern New Mexico. So my childhood was outside of Deming, New Mexico. And I actually recently went out and visited that farm with Michelle. And it's nothing now. It's just scrub brush. I mean, like the house is gone. Everything was gone. We used to have, garages and everything. Those are all gone. And it was really interesting. But I grew up in that environment. We had about 40 acres, and it was a struggling farm. And people, we tried to grow, corn, alfalfa, whatever it could, and take to market. But as a child, I didn't have the feelings of scarcity. I felt, like the whole farm was a huge, wide open world. We were within eye view of the highway there, and I just always remember looking at the highway and having. I think that's where my sense of wanting to travel and do things came from, because I'd see trucks and vehicles passing by, and I always wondered, where in the heck are they going? Like, what's going on in their life? What do they got going on? Like, where are all these people going to and coming from? And I started out like that. I had a great childhood. I grew up in Deming, and then we moved into town, and
a simpler life.
Yeah, that sounds beautiful. And so then, growing up on the farm, who would you say had the greatest impact on your life?
Growing up on the farm, that would have been probably my grandmother at the time. She passed from cancer while we still lived on the farm. And I was actually, I think, the first person to find her. She had gone to the hospital. She was sick. And because my parents worked and my grandfather was working the farm, I spent the day with her. And, she'd make me food. Her name was Juanita. She was a beautiful Hispanic woman, spoke to me in Spanish mostly, and some English, and make me tortillas in the middle of the day. I'd watch Sesame Street, but she was a big force. My grandparents were when I was growing up.
That's neat.
And I learned some of the values of respect and discipline and that kind of stuff from them, which was great growing up.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and I truly, having two boys of my own, believe it does take a tribe. If you need a tribe, so that's beautiful. You were able to have that time with your grandparents like that.
So
and
it's people do that now.
And it's something that I think that sometimes when and everyone thinks that every generation, well, the next generation, blah blah blah. It was something that we had respect for our elders. I remember that Spanish speaking elders, you show them respect by speaking to them in Spanish, or you would defer to older people and you would show respect. We didn't just go running around the house like crazy people. Like there was adults area and there was kids area, you know, and it's something that, you know, as not being a parent now puts me at a disadvantage when I'm in like big family settings now, because I'm like, whoa, go, aren't the kids supposed to be in the next room? You know, or isn't there a kids table?
Giddy up.
Right. And kids just run around and jump on you, you know, and it's like, whoa. So I don't know, maybe it was just the way I grew up, but I mean, I didn't feel a lack. I didn't feel overly disciplined. I mean, they let me just run around the farm when I was a kid, which I don't even know what the heck, you know, parents don't even let you run around the backyard now. I got to run in and out of like, you know, machinery and equipment I almost died a few times as a kid on the farm, but
I'm sure.
I think it's a great way to grow up.
Yeah,
I agree.
No video games, I guess.
Oh man, we were lucky to get a couple hours of TV. I get to watch Sesame Street, a little bit of Electric Company. That's about it. Maybe BJ and the Bear. I don't know if anyone remembers that. I'm old, man. I'm older than you, Shauna.
You know, one time you told me, I don't know, we were talking one day, but you said that you gave your mom fits. Is that as a teenager?
That was as a teenager.
And what was that all about?
Well, when I was 9, my father passed. And actually, he died in one of the still unsolved murders of New Mexico.
Sorry.
He hit me. It's a long story. I mean, we can briefly. He used to commute back and forth from Deming to Las Cruces. He worked at a place that got, I think it was a branch of like unemployment or something. But he used to help people get jobs and stuff. He was also studied to be a clergyman when he was younger before he went to Vietnam. And anyways, he was a real giving person. He used to pick up hitchhikers. Even when we were in the car, I have memories of picking up hitchhikers when we were kids. Apparently, he picked up the wrong people one time. So they found him robbed and bound, gagged, and he had suffocated by being bound and gagged. It wasn't like they tried to kill him, I don't think, but it ended up being that way. Took his car. They found it, you know, a month later at the Grand Canyon parking lot. It was somewhere in the parking lot, one of the visitor centers over there. But after that, I became like an angry little kid. I was an angry little boy for a long time. In my teenage years, I just was an idiot. You know, I ran around and did all the things that I shouldn't be doing. And my poor mother, you know, she put up with it all, and she put up with me. I was a ridiculous kid, like pretty bad.
Pretty bad. So what turned it around? Just getting out of adolescence, or?
Well, at some point I had to do something with my life. So it became, you know, they wanted me to go to military school, and I went to military school out of high school. I went to Nimi here in New Mexico, and I spent about a week there, week and a half. It wasn't for me, but I went through Hell Week. I promised to go through their, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's not like a normal Hell Week in the military, but it was their version. And I went through it, and then I was like, okay, if I go through it, and they said, well, you can decide then. And I decided I'm not staying in there, and pissed everyone off. I ended up coming to school at UNM, and I spent, 10 years graduating.
10 years. Oh my goodness.
I was out of school for a while, yeah.
I graduated when I was like 32. So I get it,
Yeah, lifetime student. Yeah. Lifetime student. Oh my goodness.
If I had it to do over again, definitely I would have not even gone to school. And now
it's interesting.
When their children around, because I'm 48, so I have friends who have kids who are getting to that age. And
48.
Shauna, yeah,
you don't look 48.
Thank you, Shauna. If your kids ever ask me about college, which I don't think, you're kind of you don't have that views, but when I was young, it was like, go to college. That's how you're going to make something of yourself,
right?
Mm-hmm. But if kids ask me now, I'm like, if you don't want to go to school, dude, don't go to school, man. Because I went to school, I dropped out, screwed up my grades, had a crap attitude. Did all the wrong things in college. And it's like, if I had to do it, I would have, go to Europe, man. Here's like a one-way ticket. go get a job somewhere, that's cool. Like get out, go to California, go to Florida, go to Mexico, go to a ski resort, do something fun and get a feel of life rather than just go to school. So that's what I love.
And I love hearing that, because I do share more of that kind of a view. I mean, I came out of with a college degree thinking that's what you had to do. That's how you made it in life. And the main thing it's gotten me is just a big ton of debt, you know. I learned a lot. Don't get me wrong. However, a lot of it, that doesn't have to be everybody's path. I agree with you.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, and then seeing how you all operate too now, I mean, it's like there's so many things you could do. Like I should have gotten a Peace Corps. I could have done something, you know, like literally ask a kid like what interests you, man? Surfing, cool. Go live in California and work a surf shop. Here's a ticket. Go and work all summer, get a ticket to Hawaii and go live out there and work. And I had a friend, his name was Marcos. We used to call him Moco. And he was like this little nerdy guy, right, in high school. And he was like a headbanger. So he had like the long hair, but he was like a geeky headbanger. And we always used to make fun of him. We all went our separate ways and then we reconvened 5 years later. I had dropped out of college. I had debt. I had bad grades. I had friends who had done random things. Marco said, well, you know, man, someone told me about how cool it was. I forget which island it was, but in the Caribbean. And I had an uncle who worked on a boat there. So he just said, come out and see if I can get you a job. And he was like, I didn't know anything about it. I never traveled outside the state. Well, the guy ended up working as a deckhand for the last 3 or 4 years on all of these different like yachts and boats all around the Caribbean going around. And the stories he had, and then now he was a professional deckhand guy with like 5 years experience. And he could work different kinds of higher end boats. And I was like, how freaking cool is that?
Right.
Like, so anyways, about doing something outside the box and different.
Well, right. And nowadays they have things like couchsurfing.com and woofing, worldwide organic farming, where you can go room and board free, learn things.
Wow.
You know, so, and it's worldwide. I agree. I think that's great advice for younger people who don't want to follow that traditional college path.
You know, we work in Kenya, and in Kenya, man, they worship education. I mean, it's like it used to be here, man. You've got to get an education. You've got to get a degree. These kids have multiple master's degrees. Guess what? They get out in Kenya, there are no jobs.
Can't even get a job.
You know what they end up doing? Hustling. So they start a little business here and figure out how to be an entrepreneur. Yep. So why go through all that school?
Right.
And so I think that's really interesting. Now,
with that being said, schooling is okay. You want to be a pilot, you want to do things like that. There's a place for everything. Right. Just nobody needs to be left out just because they aren't getting a college degree. So I think that's some great advice.
Right.
Well, if we're talking about like the theme of this show, which could be like living a life of impact without traditional models, or how to find your own path, right?
Yeah.
Towards like what you guys do, man, right now. You know, I've been doing that for almost 20 years.
You got to think outside the box.
You didn't need a degree for that.
No.
You didn't get a certification for that.
There's no degree for what we've done.
Right. And that's freaking amazing. That's amazing. And to think that you could, you know, someone could go and do something like you're doing that has affected thousands of people's lives, and there wasn't a traditional path to get there. You know, I love your all story on getting there.
Yeah, there's really not. And, you know, I think that is so important that people think outside the box. And the biggest thing, you know, with your kids or anyone is, what do you love to do? You know, don't get stuck in a 9-to-5 job and with a mortgage and you hate it. And what do you love to do? And then, you know, you're going to wear yourself out doing it. And then if you can parlay that into also helping people, I mean, that's an incredible thing. Now, for a while, you were kind of on a fast track of you know, living that so-called American dream and traveling and lots of money rolling in and blah, 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 blah. And then you kind of had a metamorphis. Tell us about that.
Well, I remember being young, and because we grew up with not a lot of money, you know, after my father died and the way we did certain things, I remember I was always just thinking, well, I'm going to go to school someday. I'm going to do something that makes money. I worked finance for 12 years. So after I graduated, I was fortunate enough to have set my eyes on I'm going to work in the finance industry. And I did that for, a good while, both in mortgage, investment banking, and made decent money, but wasn't happy. So I was always searching for something that was going to make me happier. And during that time, I got to do some cool stuff, but it wasn't until I became an entrepreneur and decided I'm leaving banking, traditional business, and I'm going to start my own business. And I decided I wanted to do work online marketing. And I started doing that. When we started turning that into a business that was profitable and multiple six-figure agency, it was great. And, and I had a team, a small team, and a salesperson who you all know, and a project manager and a few other people working. And it was great. And then I was like, I finally got to get that freedom I had been looking for a few years. And I started traveling, and my girlfriend and my current girlfriend and I, we ended up doing like over a 2-year period, like 12 countries. We got to go to Africa with you all. We got to go and climb Kilimanjaro, went to Peru. I went to all over Europe, and I got to do some really cool things. It was during that time that I started, and I'm in my 40s now doing this. And it's like, okay, this is awesome. I'm getting that freedom that I felt like I didn't have. That I didn't have before. I got to do some things, but I noticed that one thing was kind of starting to itch me more and more, scratch me, and it was kind of like, all right, this is all this great thing, but what else is there? What else is there besides to this? Now, I could still be doing this. I mean, I love traveling. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going and enjoying those, but it wasn't fulfilling in the way that I had hoped it would be. And I started wondering, like, what else could I be doing? And maybe I wasn't feeling guilt. It was just more of like how to have more impact. And that's around the time that I actually was talking to Shauna. And
Shauna met you because she was needing help with the website for an event that we do called Get Mom Down, where we live on a roof, and that's a whole nother topic. But anyway. No,
right. So you did you're doing fundraising for your nonprofit, and Sean, my salesperson at the time, had somehow knew Shauna or got introduced or something, and then came down and we're like, hey, we're doing this special where we help nonprofits with these affordable websites, and I think we did a couple of websites for you or whatever it was for a discount, and threw them up. And I didn't really think much of it other than we liked the fact that, and there's actually other reasons why we did for nonprofits. There was search engine optimization reasons, but we ended up working for, like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 little nonprofits. But what was interesting is at the time that I was looking to figure out, like, well, what else can we be doing? Like Shauna, watching her do Get Mom Down, we started asking some more questions. And somewhere within there later on, it turned into us having some conversations. And we were talking about travel and maybe voluntourism or ecotourism. I don't remember what. And I forget why. But then you guys were like, hey, we're going to be going to Africa. Why don't you just come with us?
Yeah.
And you can see for yourself. And, if you want to do more things or figure out how to expand my agency or whatever I was talking about at that time, or maybe try out, like, we're doing voluntourism. You're just like, just come to Africa first, because once you go, you'll get a different perspective on things. And it might even change the way you view life completely. Just come out and check it out. And I remember thinking, yeah, I'll go and it'll be whatever. And it's not going to, how do we get this business thing working, the voluntourism thing? And then I went and sure enough, it completely changed. And I had traveled. Even as a kid, I traveled a lot through Mexico with my mother, and I had seen very poor and poverty in other places I've traveled to, like South America too. But I was not ready for feeling like I was in such a strange land like Africa, the first time I'd ever gone. And then seeing the level of quality of living in some of the places was something I wasn't ready for.
The first place we took you, Vince, was the Kibera slums.
Yeah.
One of the worst slums in Africa. Sorry to interrupt. And I'd really like to hear what that was like for you, because that is.
Yeah, just so our listeners know, it is the largest slum in Africa, the whole continent. In a 1.5 square miles, 1 million people live. There's no sewers, there's no water, there's no infrastructure, there's no electricity, there's no jobs. Man, we threw you to the lions. you get off of the airplane, you know, from the US and we take you there. I mean, was that culture shock or what?
Absolutely. It was culture shock, and I think a way that everyone should experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you come from the U.S., and first of all, I did grow up, you know, in more modest environment growing up. I was exposed to migrant workers on the farm often and seeing what they were trying to do. So I had a different perspective about things already a little bit. And still, it was a humongous shock. And I saw people living in shacks in Mexico, you know, but the Cibera slums was, first of all, being in a place that you're not familiar with. It doesn't matter if you're white, Hispanic, American, African American. You go to the Cibera slums, you go to Africa, first of all, and you stick out like a sore thumb, period. Like, you don't fit in. You're a Mzungu. You're not from there. You're somewhere else. It don't matter if you're Hispanic or I think I'm Latino. It don't matter. You stick out like a sore thumb. You're a white guy who's from a first world country. And then we went to the slums and seeing these people, and it was just such a mix of emotions. It's culture shock. It's shock of living conditions. It's weirdly contrasted with the fact that, you know, you go in there and it immediately questions your reasons for being there as like somebody who's like a tourist, touristing other people's misery. And then, you know, we're taking like photographs and videos, and then you feel kind of guilty about it, but shit, you also want to record this experience. And we went with you guys, and you were taking supplies to one of the churches there, and so that they could give, if I'm not mistaken, over there. And we were also with the film crew that was kind of filming some documentary footage that they wanted to go. But seeing this contrast, and then you're like, holy crap, that's like a little river of like sludge going through the middle of it and trash, and how they live there in little shanties. And then the kids are just like so happy and beautiful and full of joy and life. And the people are friendly. And just seeing the interaction of all of that stuff going on was just like overwhelming, seeing the little kids. And there was like people in different modes in different little mini churches, I guess, and little get-togethers doing services. Was it a Sunday we went?
Yeah, we went to a service in the slum,
Okay.
I believe. Yeah. And,
Right.
and you know, we always have people that go with us to say the same thing as far as, but they're so happy.
Relationships.
Yes.
One thing that Africa has taught me is relationships. I come back from Africa with my 2 boys as a single mom, and I would be so depressed because that tribe mentality, and there is that happiness and that level of relationship where everybody's helping everybody. And I would come back here and I'd be like, well, wait a minute, I don't even know my neighbor's name. This is crazy. It's a hard
disconnect.
That we have so much wealth, money in America. Our relationships are
poor.
In a lot of ways, very poor.
Yeah. And again,
that's something I think you guys mentioned to me when I was down there to notice. I think that was great that you said that, because like I'm here and we live in this nice neighborhood in our area and here in Albuquerque. And, you know, I get to wave at people sometimes and we don't know anything going on. Like, you know, I don't know what it's like. Sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, are they going to ask me to help with something?
Do I have to talk to you?
Like, no, I mean, it's just not the same. Yeah. No. And I've noticed that in Mexico and other places too, before, where it's like, shoot, man. I remember living I lived in southern Texas for a while outside this little small town, and they were really known because they would train in other people's poop, and it was gelatinized. I swear. Yeah, they're sewage.
Are we talking about poop?
Yep, sewage.
All right.
Why wouldn't we?
And they gelatinized it. It was weird. And then they'd spread it on all these fields out in the middle of nowhere. And that was the main job in this little podunk town. But it was interesting is that the life there, the people had a good life. Yeah. And they were really friendly, and they'd have like big cookouts together, and the whole town would come out. And I was like, wow, this is pretty good. But they're not like quote unquote successful. Same thing in going to Africa. We're out in rural Africa, and people not saying by any means that they have it easy. Some of them live very, very hard lives with a lot of tragedy. But it does seem like money is not necessarily an indicator of the happiness or contentment that they're feeling, or the feeling of community that they might have.
Mm-hmm. And we learn, and the other thing that our teams always say is we learned so much from them. We came here to help them, and they really helped us. They really taught us community. They taught us about simplicity, and they taught us that really it's true. Things do not buy happiness. They don't. We keep thinking they will, but they never will. And it's relationships that bring true fulfillment, and that's one of the things that our teams get so much out of, is just enjoying their community. And they do suffer. I mean, they don't have medical care. They don't, they're hauling water. I mean, they really, we struggle, but they suffer.
Mm-hmm.
They suffer.
Right.
But that they rely on each other. They can't survive without community. And so, it's somewhat out of necessity, but it's also their culture promotes it. And it's, something that we're so isolated. We come in, we pull down up the garage door, pull it down, don't know our neighbors. And man, they don't understand that at all. You don't know who your neighbors are? That just blows their mind. No,
can't even comprehend that.
I gotta tell you.
Well, since going to Africa and traveling around the world and doing all of these amazing entrepreneurial things that you have done, what did you take away from that and incorporate into your business life, your experience in Africa?
Well, I decided to change a lot about my business model. Actually, thanks to you guys, I almost completely closed my agency.
Wow.
In part, you guys were part of the linchpin of that.
You're welcome.
And and for about a year and a half, I've been wandering the wilderness trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do next. I just knew that I wasn't happy with what I was doing then. And it was actually at the height of my agency's revenues and what we were doing. Within 6 months of, I guess, getting back, even my sales manager and I parted ways. He went on to do really good things right now that he's doing for another organization. But we kind of parted ways, and I was just like, what am I going to do? What does this all mean? I don't want to have an agency. It doesn't do anything for me. And what do I want to work with nonprofits? Do I want to start my own thing? Do I want to just, join the Peace Corps and go away and do stuff? I mean, and, probably just me being a little bit lazy, complacent, and not really completely committing to how I was going to go forward. It took me a good year to figure things out. So now we're working together, and I'm kind of applying how do I, first of all, I have a useful skill set in the fact that I have an agency. So I should not kill that, because if I want to do something like help organizations like you do something else and have more volunteers going, bring more revenues into your nonprofit, I need people to do the things that don't do the things. Right. So I decided not to kill my agency, and I should have decided that a lot earlier last year. And then COVID came, this was 2019, I'm sorry. And then 2020 came, and that was its own, crap fest for most people, small business and stuff. So that actually, accelerated what I had been doing about a change. And so now my agency is focused on working with fewer clients, trying to figure out how to make enough money so that I can keep my agency going, at the same time helping impact organizations and entrepreneurs that are living a life of impact and helping others. And so one of the things that I've identified is that my agency wants to help people who are helping others. Whether that's one of my projects is a firefighter kingdom that helps, that's getting information to firefighters, the first responders. So I was like, okay, I can support that. You all and what you're doing with the Bag Ladies and your nonprofit and how you're looking at going more global, even outside of Africa, with water, with housing, education, women's empowerment. That's really exciting to me. And then thinking about how we can help other organizations utilize marketing techniques and start creating a network of, people making impact, whether they're entrepreneurs or organizations, and creating an ecosystem, perhaps, of people so that they can actually start sharing, traffic and content and sharing and creating a more of a network of people doing that. And that's kind of what I'm doing now.
It's awesome.
A little bit more. And I'm still figuring it out as I go along, and I'm making mistakes, and we're not, we're figuring it out together too. But it feels way more aligned with where I want to be. It'll still allow me to have travel and adventure.
Oh, yeah.
You want to have some adventure, go to some place in Africa. And we went to then Tanzania afterwards, and we got to do the mountain trek to Kilimanjaro. But when you're the only Mzungus and only white people on a shuttle, it's like, wow, we stick way out. That's how, so pushing yourself to have a little bit of have a little discomfort, and it helps with growth. And I cannot recommend enough going with you guys. I mean, when things open up again, if people are listening and stuff, figure out how you can.
I was just thinking about that. I was just thinking about that today with the Bag Lady show. We are going to go this summer, and we're going to invite people to go with the Bag Ladies.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, Vince, I love your story. I love your heart. We can't thank you enough for what you've brought to the table for us. And you're spot on as far as what our heart is, and that's to help people to find purpose in life, to dial into their gifts and to use it to help people. So thank you for your time, and thank you for what you're bringing to our organization and to other organizations. And we look forward to a long relationship and growing and figuring all of this out together. And we really, really appreciate your time today and sharing your life.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. And I don't think I actually had mentioned it as much before, but thank you all for providing me that experience that really shook me enough that I wanted to make some changes. I mean, I don't know if I've given you guys enough credit for that, but thank you guys for helping me get a little bit on that.
So many people go with us and they come back and there's no change. I mean, you did something about it. You didn't get back into that rut, into that routine. And so, man, you're just a great guest for us to interview, but also a great person to know. And we're very, very thankful.
And for our listeners, somebody who may have connected with you and would like to know more about what, tell us your organization, your company.
I'm launching a new website for myself. It's called vincetrujillo.com. That's VinceTrujillo.com. And you can go on there and learn about some of the projects I have. I do consulting work for some certain types of businesses. And then I also have a coffee bag endeavor I'm launching soon. If you guys want to learn a little bit about that, you can check out the Bag Ladies. They have coffee, they have some handbags, they have other craft bags. But I have a great connection with a good a venture partner of mine who has a coffee company. And there'll be a lot more of that coming out. But check out the Bag Ladies coffee brand as well. And you'll be able to get a firsthand experience of that. VinceTrujillo.com.
Thank you. And we hope we make you proud as the producer of the Bag Lady show.
You already are.
And it's been a great time to, I learned a lot about you.
Oh my gosh, stuff I had no idea.
So it was great. And I know our listeners really, really appreciate it. So we will be talking to you. Thank you.
Okay. And also look out for the interview I'll be doing with you guys on my show too.
Yeah.
So that'll be coming too. Check out VinceTrujillo.com for more. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Adios.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our buddy Vince. We sure do enjoy him, and working with him has been so much fun. And him coming to Africa with us, I can say from meeting him and knowing him through the years, there's a song from Nako and Medicine for the People. And what the lyrics say is, I know that I am part of the problem, so I'm learning to soften my soul.
Wow.
And I really see Vince's soul softening and loving. And not that he wasn't that way before. I just see this newfound joy and compassion and sincerity to him.
Purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And we have a lot of causes that the Bag Lady Show is involved in: water and housing, education. And in order to fund these projects, we really need your help. And one of the ways you can do that is you also benefit because you can buy a bag, but then you have a bag, but it also goes for a good cause. So
it does.
Let's look at a couple of our bags. I'll grab this one.
Okay.
You want to grab another one?
Yeah, let me grab one.
So this is a red handbag, and actually I was reading the other day that the third most popular color of purses and handbags is red, and it really just sticks out, and it's fun. This one has a lot of room for a lot of things and a lot of compartments. So for those of you who are like me and you carry everything in your handbag, including the kitchen sink, this bag is for you. And it's magic.
Oh, there's a surprise inside.
There's another bag inside.
Oh, how cute.
So you just take it out and you can keep all your really essential things in here. And it doesn't, whoa.
And it turns into its own.
Look, a little like coin purse, a little wristlet.
This just keeps giving and giving.
I'm telling you. Okay, you got one you want to
Adorable.
share with us?
Yeah. I have this pretty blue and brown. I like these kinds of colors so much. Has the front pocket you can throw in your keys and your cell phone for easy access. Inside, we've got a lot of room. We've got zippers. We've got another zipper compartment. A couple of
Put the phone in there.
I mean, just very cute, very nice bags. So go to thebagladyshow.com and you can buy one of the bags and know that you're supporting so many different great causes for women here and around the world. Yeah, exactly.
And you can also help us by the social media.
Please follow us, subscribe, like us, Instagram, Facebook, whatever platform you're on and enjoy the most. We just really appreciate the support.
And by the way, a lot of you are buying bags already, and we're really, really thankful for that.
Yeah.
And so keep that up, and we really appreciate your support. Well, we're going to have our very first drawing, and we're excited about that. And to help us are my granddaughters. This is Riley, and this is Addie, and they're going to help us with our drawing.
Yay!
And so we're going to start with who is our first winner.
Okay, let's see it. Pop away.
I'm waiting for the little da 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 da. Okay, Riley.
Oh boy.
Can you take that pen? Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see if we can find.
Here, I got it.
Okay, good job. Let's see here.
Whoa.
Okay, this is what.
Are you okay?
Okay, this is what they won. We need to know.
Oh, okay, Addie. Let's see who won.
Let's see who won.
Close your eyes. Woohoo!
Okay, well, let's see.
Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, here it is.
Who won? Who won?
The winner is Cynthia Cooper from Cortez, Colorado.
And Cynthia has won a Bag Ladies coffee bag, mug, and t-shirt.
Oh boy, Cynthia. Woo woo. How exciting.
Thank you, girls, for helping us.
Yes, thank you,
And just
girls.
be sure that you go on to thebagladyshow.com. Be sure you register. It's free. It won't cost anything. We got some great prizes coming up every week. And we want everyone to get in on the fun.
Yes,
And we're going to close with our famous quote.
The famous quote of the day is by Jane Bunyan. And it says, "You have not lived today until you have done something for someone who can never repay you."
So let's all go out this week and do something for someone that we know will never get paid for. And it's just a great thing to be a part of serving others and helping others and making their day. So we're going to close by saying, buy a bag, help a cause, change a life. Can you say
Bye.
good night, everybody?